monks of St. Clee placed under arrest and carried off in chains. The carriage landed. The monks ordered Stephano and Rodrigo, both still in chains, to descend, then escorted them to the black yacht. They had been charged with heresy. They would be taken to the dungeons at the Citadel, the home of the Arcanum, the priests who enforced church laws. The Citadel was a fortress located on a mountain surrounded by the waters of an inland sea. If anyone had escaped from the Citadel's dungeons, they had not lived to tell the tale. 2 monks sat in the driver's box of the yacht. One was the driver, operating the helm and handling the 2 wyverns. The other rode along as guard. "We're dangerous criminals," Stephano remarked bitterly to Rodrigo. His friend said nothing, might not have even heard him. Stephano regarded him with concern. Rodrigo walked with his head bowed, seemingly oblivious to what was going on around him. He wasn't even watching where he was going. He stumbled blindly over the uneven ground. "We'll prove our innocence, Rigo," Stephano said to him. Rodrigo bleakly shook his head. He knew as well as Stephano that those who went into the dungeons of the Citadel never came out. The monk who had accompanied Stephano and Rodrigo ordered them into the yacht. The entrance was located behind the driver, which meant they had to climb up on the box to make their way inside. The driver stood to allow them to pass. Stephano hoisted himself up on the box, not easy to do with his hands shackled. Rodrigo followed more slowly, missed his step, and nearly fell. The monk caught him and assisted him through the door. Once his prisoners were safely inside, the monk entered and shut and locked the door behind him. Stephano had been in Father Jacob's black yacht. It was luxurious, homey, with a table, comfortable chairs, and beds. The interior of this yacht was bare, stripped down. The only furnishings were benches that had been built into the bulwarks, a table bolted to the deck, a chair and several storage lockers. The portholes were covered by iron bars. This yacht was designed for prisoner transport. The driver shouted at the wyverns, and the black yacht lifted smoothly into the air. "If you give me your word as gentlemen that you will not cause trouble, I will remove the manacles," said the monk. Rodrigo held out his hands. Stephano was about to tell the monk to go to hell. Rodrigo, seeing Stephano's obdurate expression, said, "Don't be a fool. Look at your wrists." Stephano looked down. His wrists were cut and rubbed raw from the manacles, and he had to admit he felt helpless without the use of his hands. "You have my word," he muttered dourly. A blue spark sizzled from the monk's fingers, and the lock on the manacles clicked. The manacles popped open and fell to the floor. The monk did the same for Rodrigo, then pointed to the benches, silently indicating they were to sit there. Stephano sat down and rubbed his wrists. Rodrigo eased himself down on the bench and lay motionless, staring up at the ceiling. He was deathly pale. Stephano rested his hand on his friend's shoulder. "Everything's going to be all right, Rigo. These charges that we conspired with Father Jacob and Sir Ander are ludicrous. There's been some sort of mistake. We're innocent." Stephano spoke loudly, aiming his words at the monk, who had taken a seat facing his prisoners in the yacht's only chair. Rodrigo closed his eyes. Stephano sat forward and continued his argument. "These charges make no sense. The idea that either Father Jacob or Sir Ander are heretics is absurd, and the notion that we conspired with them against the Church is more absurd still. Sir Ander is a knight protector."